Welcome to Sketching and Watercolor with Sonia Mocnik. In these next 5 classes that we're going to do together, we're going to be learning about different methods of getting you used to doing a little bit more drawing on your own rather than working with templates. And the idea with the sketching and the watercolor, often called line and wash or pen and ink, is that you can do it in a very easy mode of using your sketchbook. So I happen to have an Opus sketchbook right here, and you will just be using your sketchbook, and if you don't have a sketchbook, you're just using your sketch pad. And we will be painting in here and drawing different things about methods that we're going to try out. We will be doing some doodling, we'll be doing some thumbnail sketches, we will try different washes, talk about different colors, talk about perspective, trying to get an idea of perspective, and all in the idea of having fun. This is not that we have to really focus hard on making something very accurate. It's more about getting loose and enjoying the movement with pencils and fine liners. You can use watercolor pencils. We'll try that out. We'll use some graphic watercolor pencils. These are by Faber-Castell. I'll be using those, but I'll be showing you how to use it. You don't have to have anything in particular. You need a few watercolors, and you can get those by having a palette like this, which is by Montmartre, but there's so many different varieties you can get it. And basically, it's just got a series of 3 sets of very simple watercolor base that you can use. And it's just for your enjoyment to have some things that you can splash color on. I also have a very simple Windsor Newton travel pack here. Up here is the Windsor Newton, and it's got 12 different little half pan watercolor tablets in here with a nice little watercolor brush that is absolutely perfect for just having on the go. If you get really excited and you want to have more paints, you can have a similar one to the Opus Essential. They have 2 sizes of this, very similar to the Cotman that I just showed you. Opus is a local supply art store, and they've now come up with their own metal tin with their favorite supplies and paints, and I'll just show that to you too. This is really nice because it has an extra little panel on it that you can use. So, and you can hold the bottom, the base with your finger too if you're on the go and you need to have something to hold. So we're going to be working with that. We're going to be working with Sharpie pens. What we're concerned about with a Sharpie pen is that making sure that it's waterproof. Doesn't have to be waterproof. If you squiggle afterwards, you paint first and then try something out. But I recommend waterproof. We'll even try a calligraphy pen. We will try other aspects of some fun watercolors, just loose, maybe a sunset. We'll do some flowers. And nothing is going to be on the large scale. Everything is about doodling, getting to know about shadows and values and lines. And when I talk about lines, we'll talk about geometric lines, then we'll talk about organic lines, we'll talk about the different ways you can shadow by cross-hatching in different manners. We'll talk about different artists who have reference material that you can use on your own. We'll talk about urban sketching and how you can get involved with, especially now during the pandemic. I just want to go through a few of the things that I recommend for your sketching pleasure. That would be a viewfinder, which happens to be that little gray thing right in the corner there, over here. But that's not important when we're indoors. It'll be good later, and you can make one just by using a little piece of cardboard with a square inside. And then, of course, the sketchbooks, and I mentioned previously the finest watercolor book. Then there's also the premium sketchbooks like this, which is mixed media, or you can go to Moleskin, or so many other types of Strathmore, lots of things like that. A kneaded eraser, which is always very helpful, and I'm just looking to see if that's included in here somewhere. I'm just looking to see where mine is. So this is a kneaded eraser. There we go. That's a kneaded eraser. That's better than just a regular eraser, which I think is showing up over here. Then tissues, definitely. Always good to have some tissues on hand. It just happens to be there. Oh, there's the kneaded eraser information right there. You might be able to see it. The general kneaded eraser beside the Kleenex. Then you have a small water receptacle, which this collapses, when you can see right here, or you can just use a little yogurt dish that you saw me using sometimes. It's just underneath here. Just any kind of little plastic container like that. Some use jars, stuff like that. But you don't want something huge, but you do want a couple. If you're sitting at your desk while we're working indoors, have a few of the receptacles around. It's easier. Then clips, I mentioned the bulldog clips. You can see a couple of those clips there. There's one there. There's a couple of small bulldog clips there. That's always really handy to have. Water brush. These are water brushes down here with the plastic, the Pentel, and a few others there, the Derwent. We're going to be using mostly indoors. We're going to be using just regular brushes, but these are very handy because they're very easy to work with, and we'll work through them sometime along the way. We've got fine line pens, which I have a few here, down below here. There they are. There's the Staedtler and the Copic. I'm tending towards Sharpies nowadays because they're just so much easier to get a hold of and less expensive. Then, of course, there's the pencils, which are in here too, HB, as well as other levels of 4HB, 4B, 7B, things like that. Conte crayon pencils, a small palette. I have the Cotman there. There's the Opus. There's other things we can do. A bag, something that you can just put all of this into the bag and have it handy for whenever you want to bring it out, because that's one of the problems when we're stuck indoors and we can't really get around. Where do we put everything? A spray bottle, some brushes. There's the spray bottle up at the top there. And I have another little ruler inside here that you can see. Whoops. That's very helpful too, because of shapes and stuff that you can use. But if you don't have it, don't worry. Just find yourself any kind of straight line. Even a credit card will work fine for straight lines. And that gives you a little help to get you started with your kit.